Hi everyone, it's Celeste from Ujjayi Studio, and today I'm going to talk to you about supplements and the supplements that I've started using within the past month or so and why I have chosen to do this. Previously, for many years, I was hell-bent on not using supplements. I was positive I could get all of my nutrition and nutrients that I needed from the food that I eat. I felt that way because my husband and I do eat fairly healthy. We go to the farmer's market, we get local, organic, everything. We eat mostly in-season type things. So I thought, you know what? Of course, I'm getting everything I need. Not really thinking that even here there is the possibility that there are less nutrients in the soil. There's been depletion in the soil. There's so many different factors that come into play with this. And so the reason I've decided to start taking supplements is that for the past year, I have been experiencing a lot more fatigue and just general exhaustion. And of course, there could have been lifestyle changes that have affected this. I did start a job where I'm taking transit or commuting a minimum of an hour and a half a day. Sometimes I have to take that trip twice, so that means an hour and a half to 2 hours on longer than that, 2 hours to 2.5 hours on a train a day, which in its own right is absolutely exhausting, and I get a lot of reading and listening to podcasts done at that time. So of course I was thinking, that's going on, that's not helping me. I am getting older, so of course I do understand from listening to people that the older you get, the more tired you get. It just goes hand in hand. It's gotten to a point where something had to change though, particularly the past few months. I haven't been able to do literally any exercise other than what my job requires on a daily basis, basically. For years I would get up 4:15 in the morning, go to the gym for 5 o'clock, work out, have a very powerful, strong workout, continue on with my day, and be fine. And there has been no option of getting up at that time for me, especially in the past year, particularly the past few months, more so. For me, I now sleep in till about 6 o'clock, which for me is quite late, even though I know that's very early for a lot of people still. And that seems to give me a pretty good night's sleep. And that's with me going to bed 9:30. So it's not as though I'm staying up late. So something had to be done, because it's really affecting me. It's affecting my mentality, my emotions, my eating habits. Definitely when you are tired, you have less control, let's say. It's a lot harder to make healthy choices if given the option to make non-healthy choices. So with all that in mind, I started doing research, and the supplements I decided to start taking were a vitamin D, a vitamin B12, and a magnesium supplement. And I'll explain about each of these supplements, what they do, when you should take them, and why I'm taking them. I guess it's pretty obvious, because I'm tired, that's why I'm taking them. So I'll start explaining about them. Vitamin D, let's start with that one. So vitamin D is extremely important. It helps with immune function, it helps with bone and calcium formation and absorption. It helps with reproductive health. It's a substrate for all of our sex hormones, basically. So testosterone, estrogen, everything like that. So it's a pretty big thing. It's important. We can produce it. If we didn't have it, we'd die, basically. So we can produce it from sunlight, of course. What happens when you live in Vancouver, in British Columbia, as I do, most of the winter, we don't get adequate sunlight. Even the sunlight that we do get, it's not as strong, so there's not the same amount of production happening. And The other thing, it's cold in the winter here. Not as cold as many places, but cold enough that you do have to cover up. And obviously, if your skin isn't exposed, you're not going to be producing any vitamin D on your own. So, what do? We take a supplement. I'm taking a D3 specifically, and I am taking about 3,000 to 4,000 IU, international units, per day, which I believe is higher than the RDA. I'm not 100% sure what the RDA is, but I know that they're generally pretty low. Remember, the RDAs are the level that makes us function. It is not the optimal level. It is the level that makes us stay alive, basically, and, be a zombie, in my opinion anyways. So that's what's going on with vitamin D. All the things that it's good for, how you can get it. I know there is a vitamin D2 as well. I'm not taking that. I'm just focusing on the D3. And I'll tell you about how I'm feeling once I explain the other two supplements. So up next, we're going to talk about vitamin B12. Vitamin B12. So you can get this from your diet. It can be found in, for example, beef or chicken livers. It can be found in eggs. It can be found in meat, fish. I believe there are a few grains that do contain it, although I don't really eat grains, so I'm not too sure on that one. B12, I'm taking 3 milligrams per day. The research I've been reading is suggesting taking over 5 milligrams. Again, same with the D3. I'm wanting to just test out levels and see how it goes. And then if I'm still noticing I need some improvement, then I still have room to increase, basically. So I forgot to mention with the D3, I'm taking it in the morning when I wake up. B12, I'm also taking in the morning when I wake up. So B12 is good for brain, nerve, blood health, basically. It helps to repair DNA. So also a pretty important thing. Many people that have a B12 deficiency, which many people do, by the way, generally also vegetarians. I was a vegetarian for many years, a vegan as well, and oddly enough, I did not have a B12 deficiency, which reminds me, if you're a vegetarian or vegan and you use nutritional yeast, that is high in B12. So, I do know a vegetarian source. So I would use nutritional yeast on everything because I liked the taste of it. It was a good cheese replacer for me. So I actually had extremely high B12, which again isn't the best thing, being over the top. So long story short, taking that in the morning with my D3. So that's what I'm taking in the mornings. The last supplement that I've started on a regular basis is a magnesium supplement, which magnesium I'm taking at nighttime. So at nighttime, right now I'm taking, depending on the night, either 450 milligrams or 600 milligrams. So I have 150 milligram caplets. I take either 3 or 4 caplets just before bedtime. Magnesium can help you sleep, first of all, so that kind of goes back to the whole root of this, trying to improve the quality of my sleep. So take it at nighttime. For me, it's 3 or 4 capsules, 450 to 600 milligrams. It's really hard to get this from our diet because of soil depletion. So chances are, if you're not taking anything with magnesium in it, you're not going to be getting enough. It's very good for our muscles. When you have sore muscles from a workout and they say, have an Epsom salt bath. Epsom salts are magnesium, generally speaking, so they're very good at alleviating muscle cramps. You can associate magnesium deficiencies quite often with PMS, with depression, with numerous other things, basically. Magnesium is something that your body will use for a ridiculous amount of enzymatic processes. I think the number I read was something up to 300 enzymatic processes need magnesium for them to happen, including proper transcription of DNA, RNA, amongst other things. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, and of course can't do it while I'm on camera. So magnesium, I'm taking that as well. So these three things, this combination of these three things, I've been taking them, I would say 90% of the time for the past 3 to 4 weeks. And what have I noticed? I have noticed I feel like a completely different person. I actually have energy. I have been able to go to the gym at my regular 5 a.m. time, except for last week I was sick because there was a few people in my class that were sick, so I did catch it. So I've been able to exercise. I feel stronger. So of course I've been eating like ketogenic basically for a while now, and that has given me improved endurance, definitely. So combine that with feeling more energy on a daily basis and on like a body level, a cellular level almost. I feel like I can actually lift some weights again. I mean, I was able to squat heavier than I've tried in a year and not being crippled from it, which I tried, let's say 6 months ago, to build my way up to my old squatting weight, which, by the way, in my bodybuilding days was, 2 plates each side, 225 pounds is what I used to be able to do for reps. Right now I can do 135 for reps, which even 6 months ago, if I've tried doing 135, which I did try, I was so sore, like a week, I was sore. I didn't experience that this time, which could be the magnesium helping me out with that, or all of the above. So energy is better. I feel stronger. I am sleeping a lot better, where normally I would wake up 4 or 5 times a night, literally 4 or 5 times a night. And I'm not doing that. Like last night was different. It was Thanksgiving here in Canada, and I had one cider and I woke up 4 or 5 times last night. So my learning from that, no more drinking alcohol for me. It doesn't work for me, which I kind of knew that anyways. So my quality of sleep is better. I remember reading somewhere, I don't remember where, but we should be having, is it 3 or 4 separate dreams each night? That's it. Each dream we have is like a different REM cycle. Again, I don't remember the source that I was reading this, so don't quote me 100% on this. And I would say previously I either wasn't remembering any dreams, or I would just have one dream. And then of course wake up a lot. And I remember most of my dreams now in the morning. They're quite vivid, and I'm having multiple. So that as well is telling me that there's an improved sleep quality. And yeah, just the fact that I really do feel younger, it would be a great way to put it, because of the energy level. I feel younger than I was feeling. So that's been my experience, my experiment with adding just these 3 supplements in. Of course, like anything, I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me. It's just my opinion. It's just what I've experienced. I'm not telling you to go and do it. What my newest experiment is I've just recently started adding chromium, selenium, vitamin C in at various points in my day. And I am occasionally using a nootropic. So once I have a little bit more baseline with those, I'll be talking to you about that. But for right now, that's been my experience with feeling more energy. So of course, you can always check out our website, www.ujjayistudio.com, where we have exercise plans. One is more muscle building, one is more getting optimal range of motion in your body and still building strength at the same time. And then one is just basically an ass kicker If you want to go in and sweat for a good 15-20 minutes, get her done. High intensity interval training. Again, Celeste Ujjayi Studio. Only Ujjayi can save you.